38,000 feet. The cabin is quiet. People watch movies, sip coffee, doze against the window. Outside, the sky is a shade of blue you never see from the ground. Deep, almost purple at the edges. It feels effortless up here, like the plane could just keep going, higher, faster. Why not? Because somewhere above this exact spot, around 40,000 feet, the air turns against the airplane. Not all at once, not with a warning light, just less. Less to breathe, less to push against, less room to make a mistake. Pilots have a name for what's waiting up there. They call it the coffin corner, and the gap between flying safely and not flying at all can shrink to just a few dozen knots, narrower than the speed difference between a car merging onto a highway and one already doing 60. This is the invisible ceiling of modern aviation, and it's not what you think it is. Here's the assumption most people make, and it's a fair one. If the engines are powerful enough, the plane should just keep climbing. More thrust, more altitude. That's how it works with a car. More gas, more speed. That's how it works with a rocket. So why does a $200 million aircraft, built by some of the smartest engineers on the planet, stop climbing around 40,000 feet? It's not because the engines run out of power. It's because the sky runs out of air. And once you understand what thin air actually does to an airplane, not in theory, in practice, the whole question flips. This isn't a story about power. It's a story about margin. And margin, it turns out, is the most fragile thing in aviation. Quick one before we go further. Comment where you're watching this from. I read every single one, and it's the easiest way for me to know this story's actually reaching people. Let's start with the simplest problem, because it's the one that sets off everything else. Air isn't uniform. Down at sea level, air is thick, molecules packed in, practically shoulder to shoulder. Climb higher, and those molecules spread out. Fewer of them in every cubic foot of sky. That matters more than you'd think, because a wing doesn't generate lift by magic. It generates lift by shoving air downward, fast, thousands of times a second. Fewer molecules means less to shove. Less to shove means less lift, unless something makes up the difference. So the airplane compensates. It flies faster. At 40,000 feet, a jet needs to move through the sky at a much higher true speed just to generate the same lift it got at 10,000 feet, with room to spare. Simple enough. Fly faster, problem solved. Except now, there's a second problem, and this one's hiding inside the engines. Jet engines don't carry their own oxygen the way a rocket does. They breathe. They pull air in from outside, compress it, mix it with fuel, and burn it thousands of times a minute. Which means an engine is only as strong as the air it's breathing. And up here, that air is thin. Not just less lift for the wings, less oxygen for the engines too. Less mass flowing through the core, less thrust available. At exactly the moment, the airplane needs more of it to fly faster. It's like trying to sprint at altitude. Your legs are just as strong as they were at sea level. There's just less oxygen getting to them. So the harder you push, the less you actually get back. The airplane is being squeezed from both sides now. It needs to fly faster to keep lift up, but flying faster is getting harder because the engines have less to work with. And even if you could find the thrust, there's a third wall waiting. This one's stranger than the first two, because it isn't about running out of air. It's about outrunning sound itself. Here's the part that surprises even people who've flown 100 times. Up in the tropopause, that thin, cold layer where airliners cruise, the temperature drops to around 60 degrees below zero. And temperature isn't just a comfort problem. It changes something fundamental. How fast sound travels through the air. Colder air means a slower speed of sound. At sea level, sound travels at around 760 miles an hour. Up at cruising altitude, that number drops, sometimes by more than 50 miles an hour, which means the finish line moves closer, even though the airplane hasn't actually sped up. That matters, because air doesn't flow evenly over a wing. As it curves over the top, it accelerates, fast enough, sometimes, to hit the local speed of sound before the rest of the plane does. Push too close to that line, and shockwaves start forming on the wing. Airflow separates. The controls get heavy, then unpredictable. Pilots call it mock tuck. The nose wants to pitch down hard, right when you need it to do the opposite. So now the airplane is trapped between two walls, closing in from opposite directions. Fly too slow, and it stalls. Fly too fast, and the wings lose control in a completely different way. If you're the kind of person who actually wants to understand why, not just what, that's rare, honestly. And it's exactly what this channel is built around. A like tells YouTube to put this in front of more people like you. Costs nothing, means a lot. At lower altitudes, there's plenty of room between those two walls. But climb high enough, and the walls start moving toward each other. This is where everything you just learned collides. As the airplane climbs, thin air pushes the minimum safe speed up. Fly any slower, and the wings stop producing enough lift to stay airborne. At the same time, the dropping temperature pushes the maximum safe speed down. Fly any faster, and the airflow over the wings starts breaking apart. Two lines, moving toward each other, one rising, one falling. At normal cruising altitudes, the gap between them is wide, plenty of room to speed up, slow down, ride out turbulence. But climb high enough, and that gap narrows, and narrows, until, near the airplane's ceiling, it can shrink to just a few dozen knots. This is the coffin corner. Not a wall you slam into, a space you slowly lose. A window so narrow that flying too slow and flying too fast start to feel like the same mistake. This is the gap pilots train for and never want to test. It's the reason the calm cabin from the start of this video is calm, because the airplane never actually flies into that corner. It stays well below it on purpose every single flight. So here's a fair question. If a plane could technically survive a little higher, why not just push it? Squeeze out a bit more altitude, a bit more efficiency, because technically possible and certified safe are two very different lines, and airlines only get to fly inside the second one. Every commercial aircraft has a maximum operating speed and a maximum operating altitude, set not by guesswork, but by test pilots who spent months mapping the actual edges of the flight envelope, deliberately probing the buffet boundaries so the rest of us never have to. Those numbers get written into the aircraft's certification. Cross them, and it's not just a rough ride. It's flying outside the airplane's legal tested limits. And even setting the legal line aside, there's not much reason to push higher. Past a certain point, thinner air stops paying you back in fuel savings. The gains shrink, then disappear. The margin for error keeps narrowing, and a pressurization failure at these altitudes is far less forgiving than one lower down, where there's more oxygen, more time, more room to react. So the ceiling isn't just physics anymore. It's a decision. Airlines, engineers, and regulators all draw the same conclusion from different directions, and they all land on the same number. Somebody in your life has definitely wondered this exact thing on a flight and never actually looked it up. Send them this one. It's a 2-second favor that answers something they've probably been quietly curious about for years. So, why can't a passenger airplane fly higher than 40,000 feet? It's not one answer. It's 4 problems, arriving one after another until they meet in the same place. Thinner air asks the plane to fly faster. Weaker engines make that harder. Colder air lowers the ceiling for speed itself. And somewhere above 40,000 feet, those problems stop being separate. They converge. The airplane doesn't hit a ceiling up here. It runs out of margin, and margin, once it's gone, doesn't come back. Maybe that's the real lesson hiding above 40,000 feet. Every system, every machine, every plan has a hidden margin holding it together. You don't usually see it. You just live inside it, comfortably, until the day it starts to disappear. If you want more of this, the hidden rules and invisible limits behind the machines we use every day, that's basically the whole channel. Subscribe, and there's a playlist right on screen with more of exactly this. Pick one. I think you'll like where it goes.